Good afternoon, everybody, the organizers, and my fellow colleagues. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Mary Oguntuase from Polytechnic Institute of Tomar, and my topic is Material Symbols of Memory, the Significance of Arrowheads at Anta de Vale da Laje. These are my outlines. Anta de Vale da Laje is a funerary site located at about 167 meters in the Serras Parish, Tomar Municipality, Santarém District in Portugal, Central Portugal. And it has been one of the funerary sites that was discovered by the archaeologists, the indigenous archaeologists, during 1989. And excavations campaign started in 1989, 1990, 1990, and 1991 by Oosterbeek and others. And from then, the archaeological find, and this is the map, the location of the Anta de Vale da Laje. And the archaeological finds from this site include lithics, bone, melters, ornaments, and other things. And based on this, other previous research have been taking place that involve the archaeopetrographic study of the place and micromorphology and others. Notwithstanding this, the funerary site has 4 stratigraphic layers, in which we have A, B, C, D, composited into A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. And it is only the stratigraphic layer B and C that contain archaeological finds. And the materials and methods that I used include about 174 lithic artifacts were recovered, in which we have 88 arrowheads, 74 microliths, and 12 terbital residues. The analytical method involve technotypological analysis, the geochemical analysis, and the spatial analysis. This is the process in which we arranged the technotypological analysis of the arrowheads. And that is when I was taking the pictures of the artifacts. And this is the portable SRF machine used for the geochemical analysis. So from this, in the typological analysis, 6 arrowheads, arrowheads typologies were identified, in which you have concave-based arrowheads, straight-based arrowheads, leaf-based arrowheads, tank-based arrowheads, and also we have the ones cruciform arrowheads, and also cruciform arrowheads. And we also have the ones that were not are also indeterminate. And these arrowheads, we have some. We use foreign buyer 1999 arrangement. We which all the arrowheads as triangular. And based on this, but with minor modifications, in which we were able to differentiate the ones with heads and the one without heads. So, from the analysis, the composition of the concave-based arrowheads were much more, about 43%. Were much more than, we have about 43%. Then that of the straight base, we have 23%, and the leaf base 18%. Then the tank base 5%, and the cruciform stroke side appendages 2%, and the rhomboid we have 1%. Then the indeterminate. Then further classification was done, in which some of the arrowheads with heads and some are without heads, and it was discovered that the one with heads are much more than the one without heads, in which the concave base, for example, out of 37, we have 27 that are with pins, with points rather. While with the ones without points are just 10. And for the straight base, we have the ones that are with points to be of 19, while the one without points is just only 1. And the leaf based, the one with points 13, and the one without points, we have 3. And for the tank based, 1, and we want the 3, and the one without points is a 1. So it was discovered that more the ones with points are much more have higher percentage than the one without points. Furthermore, we will now do the geochemical analysis. We use principal component analysis to also investigate the sources of the flint stroke secret of the material that was used for the construction of these arrowheads. And it was discovered that the Antaras and the agro-pastoralists, that they were able to procure the arrowheads, the material, the source material, within some of short local range within the Tagood Basin, while some are of long range. And from the principal component analysis, we can see we discover that the ones that are close, we can see from the red circles are the samples, while the long the blue arrow is showing the composition of each element of the arrowheads. And it was discovered that platinum group of elements were the major elements that were contained inside these arrowheads. And we discovered that the source of the material was procured within of short range, about 10 kilometers, and of long range. So probably that maybe from different areas. Later, the spatial analysis was done. And in this spatial analysis, it was discovered from the sterile layer. It was discovered that the leaf-based was found at very close to the sterile layer, based on the available data of the coordinates. So we used it to plot the spatial analysis. So it was discovered that the leaf-based arrowheads were very close to the sterile layer, then followed by the concave base, and even towards the uppermost layer, the uppermost stratigraphic layer. It was discovered that the leaf-based and the arrowheads were still coexisting. And what is the implication of this? The implication is that despite the fact that the hunter-gatherer, there were different groups based on the diverse typology of arrowheads that we have. It shows that the hunter-gatherer and the agro-pastoralists, they still continue the technology that was started by the hunter-gatherer. The agro-pastoralists still continue the technology of the hunter-gatherer. Then, what are the conclusions we were able to find out? The conclusions that we were able to find out include that that Anta de Vale da Laje served both for short that they used it both within that they use it within for short range, that they use it for short range, and also for occasional use and for long-term use. And also the diverse technological typologies also revealed that there were different cultural groups coming to the site, and with this they were having their different they displayed their different typologies, different technological innovation. And for the social implication as materials of symbols, because there were higher percentages of the arrowheads with points more than the arrowheads without points. So this probably indicates that the arrowheads were served as grave goods to accompany the dead, and in which domestically maybe these people have been using these materials, and later when they die, they brought them to the funerary site to accompany them. And also, and also indicates that with this, that there were different phases of human occupation at the site. And with this, to go on to the Iberian Peninsula, it confirms the dual theory of Neolithic diffusion. That despite the fact that the agro-pastoralists were present at the site, they still continued the technology of the hunter-gatherer. So these are our conclusions concerning Anta de Laje, and based on this, we concluded that Anta de Laje is an aggregation site. Thank you for listening.